What's up, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the 30-Day Bootcamp. We're going to continue today going through Fundy Designer. I'm really excited to go through this with you guys. Just so you know, yesterday I had to pre-record the video. I had contractors over here. They were doing work on the house. We had a fence issue when a big storm blew through. And so yesterday they were working on that. And today I actually pre-recorded as well. But it's going to look just like this. It's going to be great information, and I'm going to tell you and take you through basically. So like yesterday, we went to the creation of album design. I'm going to take you from that point of creation to the point of sharing with your client and doing it in a beautiful way, one that's really impressive, one that they actually appreciate, love, and enjoy, and it makes them want to spend more money with you. Okay, so I think this is an incredibly valuable lesson. I did include my code for Fundy. So if you don't have Fundy Designer and you want it, I have a code through them. It's just my last name, Costanza. Make sure you spell it right. And you put that in at checkout, you get 20% off. So even better there, okay? So I'm going to hit play on this recording. I'm going to let it roll. It's live. And you may hear me get up and leave the room. That's because I don't want to be like twitching or fiddling around with things while I'm sitting here watching the video. All right, so let's just let it roll, and we will catch you guys at the end of this, okay? Okay, so let's pick up with part two. So yesterday I went in and I showed you guys how to design an album in Fundy Designer. What an incredibly powerful piece of software. And I'm telling you, if you guys haven't used this, you've got to get on it, especially if you're designing albums for your clients, and double especially if you're actually going to be selling your work to your clients. This is like a no-brainer, absolute guaranteed return on investment if you're selling your products. And in fact, when I look at time, the amount of time it saves, I'm also able to go out and make more money in my business because I'm not stuck behind the computer editing albums for 20 hours, okay, per album. Okay, so let's dive back in. I showed you how to design it yesterday. I'm going to show you today some little like tips that you can do inside of Fundy, and then how you can also export it and get it ready and prepped for preview and print. Okay, so let's dive right back in, and here we go. So we're going to pick up with the album itself. So this is the full view of the album. Everything's laid out nicely. And where is my cursor? Here we go. All right, so you can see you've got the full 30 pages there. Now, I was telling you guys yesterday you can do some pretty cool stuff with this particular software, and I'm going to show you one of my favorite things first and foremost. Now, let me start by saying Fundy's actually built in some of the functionality that you used to have to do by going through like Photoshop and Lightroom, which is really, really cool that you can actually do this inside of this application and the image actually saves in real time. So let me just show you an example. Let's go to this one here. And let's say, you know what, like, I don't know, maybe for some reason you want this to be black and white. Well, that's what this BW is. Super simple. And you literally just click on black and white. It'll give you 3 toning options. So you can see number 2 is more contrasted. And number 3 is even a little bit more contrasted, and it kills some of the shadows. So like number 2, you get a little bit more like a highlight or a brightness in the background. And then number 3, it brings a little bit more of the shadows down, so the image is even a little more contrasted. Now, I'm not going to make an image in Hawaii black and white like 99% of the time, right? But how cool is it to know that if you wanted to, you could, and it's just that easy. You don't have to go into Lightroom. You don't have to go into Photoshop. You don't have to apply actions. You literally can, excuse me, literally can just go in, click BW, and rock and roll. And you can also use a slider. If you want more contrast, add it. Okay, you can see how it darkens up. It's really nice. And then on the opposite end, if you want less, you can make it a little bit more of that, like, we'll call it hazy or sort of muted type of look. But I usually keep it in the middle about where they have it and go from there. Now, I don't always use this feature. I usually edit my photos in post-production before I bring them into this app. But there have been times where I've been designing an album and I needed to match a black and white with a black and white. And it was just a really quick, simple conversion, okay? So that's the way to go. I'm going to go back to original color there. Now, let me show you guys something else. If you want to actually edit this image in Photoshop, this little pencil right here will actually open your external editor. So I'm going to click it. We're going to see what happens. Now I've got Photoshop open in a different window, and I'm not sure what's going to pop up on the screen here. So let's see what happens. Oh man, this is using an old version of Photoshop as well. I need to change the external editor. So actually I can show you guys how to do that too. But what's cool about it is you could go in here, you could make your edits, you know, let's just say you wanted to do something, like let's just do something, actually, you know what? I'll do something kind of funky and basic just to show you the difference. Let's say you wanted to go turn that all the way down like that. And obviously you would never do this. I'm just trying to show you so you can actually see an example of what the image looks like when it saves, right? So then you merge those layers, which is Command-Shift-E to merge all layers, and then Command-S to save it. And let's go back into Fundy and watch the image change on the right side. Just give it a sec to pop. Oh, there you go, right? So you can also edit the image and make sure you save it properly, and it'll actually pull the edit right back into this, right back into the software, which is, it's powerful, guys. It's really powerful, and this is something that was so difficult before to do that is so easy now. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back and I want to undo those changes because I think this looks silly. So I'm going to go Command-Z, oops, Command-Option-Z, and I'm going to basically just delete these two layers here. I'm going to delete the selected layers, get it back to the original state, Command-S to save it, and I'm going to close this out, and you'll see it should readjust back for me. Okay, so there's that. That's really simple. Now, what happened is you can set your external editor, you know, within Fundy. So what I want to show you how to do is actually to go right here and change it. And you go into, where is it? Choose external editor. There you go. Applications. Now I'm going to go with, I've got every version of Photoshop known to man, right? So I'm going to go with Photoshop 2020. Give it the updated version. So now when I click this pencil in the future, it's going to open up 2020 instead of 2018, okay? That's probably a good indication for you guys of how frequently that I actually do the trick that I just showed you. But it's really powerful if you're in a pinch and you want to make a quick tweak, you can do it with ease, okay? Now, I'll show you something else. Let's use, let me find a different image. I don't know what I want to use for this. Let's just go down here and use this image right here. All right. Now, if I double click this image, what will happen is you'll see this new box appears. And what's cool about it is in Fundy, you can see how I'm separating. So this is like a separate screen basically, right? And what happens is you can actually go into Fundy and use this particular editing suite. Now this is an add-on. I believe this one is an add-on for Fundy. You'll have to double check me on that. If you buy the whole suite together, I think it's all included. But you can go in here and you can do things like, instead of having to go back into Photoshop and retouch skin and things like that, you can literally go back in, click the edit, and then click like intelligent retouch and see what happens. Might be pretty difficult to tell the difference on the screen here. Let's see what happens if I just roll this up. Oh, it's thinking. Let's see what happens if I roll skin smoothing up. Let's see if it makes a big difference. Yeah, you can definitely see that. It's not moving the slider for some reason. It's moving pretty... There you go. Okay. So let's see what it does. I think the reason it goes into thinking mode is because it's actually applying an effect behind the scenes. So that actually looks smoother. Let's go with eye enhancement. Let's just see if you can see a difference there. I'm noticing the groom Ryan's eyes really stand out. He's looking like quite Hollywood, which looks good. And in fact, so guys, this is a little bit, yeah, it looks kind of like overdone now, right? But I'm just trying to give you guys the example. This is really, really cool to have built into this program. I think the idea that Fundy had was that he wanted everybody to be able to go in and make basic tweaks without having to exit this particular application, because then it gets complicated. There's extra steps that are added, and it just gets frustrating. So let's try a different one. Let's go with rugged skin and see if you can see a bigger difference with that. Okay, I can't really tell a big difference here. Oh, it's still thinking. Okay, yeah, there's definitely a difference there. Okay, And so this is just one of those things that you guys are going to want to play with when you get in here. I'm going to clear it out. I like the fact that I can edit inside of the suite if I want to. What's cool too is if you toggle this on, what'll happen is if you hit on and then sync, it'll sync that same effect to the next image in the set. So it's cool. It's a really neat and intuitive way to actually edit within the Fundy Designer Suite, and it's really powerful. Okay. So those are usually like the basic tweaks you'll see somebody make when they're trying to kind of finalize an album design before they send it off to print. Now I want to show you guys something different. Okay. So now you've got your album done, and you're probably wondering, well, how do I share this with my client? Okay. So in the past, what we used to have to do is export these spreads out and basically like create a PDF or host them on some weird site or gallery or something different and funky. And Fundy sort of also thought about getting rid of that idea and making that easier. So what happens is you go up to this arrow, box and arrow up at the top right corner. You click that and you've got all of these options, okay? Now, the only two that you will generally need is export for print and export for proofer. When you hit export for proofer, what it's going to do is it's going to export this album with the images at a web resolution. So that way you can load them fast into the gallery preview proofing software. And they're not like trying to load these huge images that take forever to load up on a page. Okay, so export for proofer is going to basically give you a web resolution preview to share with your client. When you're ready to print, you just go to export for print. It exports high resolution versions, and then you can send those right to your lab. Okay, pretty simple. For this example, we're going to go to Proofer, and I'm going to show you guys the exact process I use to send something out to my client. All right, export for Proofer. It wants to know where I want to put it. I've already got the folder created, so I'm going to Proofer. We're going to look at that later. Okay, select. Okay, so I'm going to export. So right here, I mean, look, let me just sort of explain to you. You're almost always going to go all pages, but let's just say that like you've got, pages 1 through 28 are great, and you just had to redo the final spread. So pages 29 and 30 you had to redo, and you just need to export that sample. Then you just click the certain range, and you'll just go 29-30, and it's only going to export that particular spread, okay? In this case, you want to export all pages because we're trying to show the entire preview. All right, so let's go all, and let's export. Now, this can take a minute, especially when you're doing high res images for print. It can take a minute to export, but it's basically building out this really cool set of files that you can share in a gallery format with your clients. Okay, and I'll take you over to that while this is exporting. It looks like it's only going to take, I don't know, 30 seconds or so here. All right. Now over here on desktop 2, I want to show you where you can go. So you can go to this link called onlinealbumproofing.com. Hit create proof. And then I want to show you guys here exactly what you can do. Now I've already created the client for this particular example, but you put the proof name in and then you add a client name. So if they weren't already added, you just click add client button. You put their name and their email in and click submit or save. And then it'll pop them into this box right here, okay? But I'm going to use this particular setup. Now, what's cool about this design proofer, and again, this is also part of Fundy's deal, which again is why I love it. It's a pretty turnkey suite. Now, I will tell you the design proofer is an annual subscription for that. I don't think it's too bad. I think it ends up being like $10 a month or something like that, but it's totally worth it. It's just made life so much easier to get albums proofed. So you can see every one of these question marks is going to pop up something for you. So proofing agreement, we recommend you have an album agreement for your clients. This message can be edited in the settings panel. So you can kind of make this agreement say what it wants. You can basically say, hey, you can only make X number of changes to this album. Now look, I put this in place because I used to not cap the number of changes, and I would have wedding clients come through that would want to make, like, honest to God, 50 to 70 changes. And so I cap it now at 1 change, and I tell them it's 1 round of changes. So give me everything that you want on the first round, and I'll make any of the requested changes for you, no extra cost. Anything above that's $150 per revision. The reason it's important that you do this is because if you don't set a boundary, your clients will run all over you. And I'm not saying that from negativity. I'm saying that from actual real life experience. If you give somebody an inch, they'll take a mile. And so the thing is, you want to make sure that people are making these revisions count. I don't want somebody to be watching Netflix, ask me for 50 changes, and then watch Netflix again and, ask me for 50 more changes and just never pay attention. I want people to pay attention. So if I say, hey, I need you to let me know right now what the actual changes you want are, they're going to pay attention, or they're going to pay $150 per revision. And since I've implemented this, nobody's actually paid for a revision. So that's one of those things you don't even need to worry about. But make sure you put that in place. You can also enable a client password for the gallery, third-party image gallery, client request changes link, you can hide. I'm leaving all that stuff blank. I usually set a client password for my clients, but since I'm going to show you guys an example here, we're just going to keep rolling. So you can see this pop up here that came up and said, would you like to go to the design proofer login and sign up page? That's where I just showed you guys. That's where we just went. So to onlinealbumproofing.com. So I'm going to say no for now because we're already in there. Okay. So we're good here. Now what I'm going to do is click save. I'm sorry. No, I don't want to do that yet. Sorry. Go to upload revision. You're going to stay on this top row first. So upload revision. So it's not technically a revision. It's the first version of this, right? What you want to do is select files, and I'm going to go to the same place I just was. And you want to make sure, you guys can see in the original gallery, I have a print folder here, and those are the higher res images, and now I'll actually show you that. So if I go 0102, that's 4.5 megabytes. If I go to Proofer, and I go 0102, it's 267 kilobytes. So like exponentially smaller. That's what you want to do for Proofer. In fact, if you load anything over 2 megabytes into Proofer, it won't load. It'll give you an error. So go back to your Proofer folder. This is the one we're doing now. And look, it's even created a mock front and back cover. And I'm just going to click and drag up and hit open. And look how fast it loads these previews in. I mean, that's another reason this thing is so great, because it loads those web res previews up really, really quickly. All right. So it's not a vertical flip. I don't need to do anything else. Edit revision. I just make sure everything looks good. Everything's good there. If you want to create a faux cover, you can. I typically don't. Flip options. I've literally never added music. I don't really see a need to do that. If you want to add music, you can. It's no big deal though. And background color white, and then email reminders. So if you want to, if you want to make sure that your client's revision gets done, you can change the frequency. So once a month or twice a month, and you can turn reminders on. I'm not going to toggle them on because I've got my email address in here. So it's going to finish and send me an email. But this is what it says when you're done, right? So everything's gone all the way through. You hit finish and send client email. And client email sent. And now the way I view it is I go up here to the top right and I hit the links button. This is how we're going to preview it together. You must save, click save on the edit revision tab for this proof. Let's see where we are. All right, save. Save. Should be good. Let's see if we can proof it now. Okay, so all we're going to do now is click, this is like the top link. So what will happen is after you finish and send this, your client's going to get an email with a link anyways, but this is how you can view it on the back end if you want to get in there. So I just click on this. Let me widen the screen for you guys so all you need to look at is this preview. All right. And let's flip through. So this is an exact mock of what we just built in Fundy. How freaking cool is this, guys? If you're not leveraging the power of this for your business, you're missing out. I promise you, you're wasting time too, because who wants to build PDFs? I mean, it's not even that it's hard. It's just that it's a process. With Fundy, you can just export these things right out and roll. And you can even export as a PDF out of Fundy as well now. So it's like, if you like PDFs and you prefer to do that over this, you can send your album preview to your clients as PDF. It's no problem. I just happen to think this is the best of the best, okay? So it looks good. They get to flip through. It's got a cool like 3D feel when the page flips, and they just get excited about it. So this is really one of the best resources that, honestly, this is some of the best money I've ever spent in my business, hands down. Okay. And Fundy doesn't pay me to say that. I believe that when you find a great product that saves time and increases productivity, you need to put that product out there for people to use, because as business owners, there are so many hats that we have to wear that any way we can make the process easier, we need to make easier. Okay. So I just think you guys need to be on this. Okay. And that should be the end of this. Okay. So that's cool. They can sign off on that. And then when they're done, when you get to the point where they're done, let's go back to Fundy. Let's say they sign off on that and they're ready to roll. Then you just go up here and you click this guy up in the top right corner, the arrow in the box, and you would export for print. And then it's going to export those print files and you'll submit those to your lab. If you guys need help with learning how to export to a professional lab, let me know. Most of the time, any lab that you use, you can go to their website and you can just download what it's called ROES, ROES. And it's basically a software that connects to that company's server. And you just upload like your final image files into that ROES, basically that ROES software, and it connects the product to that company so they know what to print. Okay. If you guys would like me to do a tutorial on that, I'd be more than happy to. Just let me know. But for now, what I'm going to do is kind of shift gears from album design and show you one more powerful feature of Fundy. And there's many other things you can do in here. I'm going to show you wall galleries and what you can do when you have clients who want wall art. Okay. So I've already created a gallery for Amber and Ryan. Let's go in and boom. I want to show you guys how cool this stuff is. One of the things I can promise you will sell your work more than anything is giving a visual representation to the client, because most people don't have like the ability to visualize what something's going to look like on a wall or what something's going to look like in their home. Okay, so when you can provide that visual piece for them, it exponentially increases your ability to sell. Okay, so let's go up and let's click layouts and see what they've got. All right, I don't want to do layouts for this. So you could do there's so much you can do in here. This could be multiple trainings itself. Let's see. I actually don't have any collections downloaded on this machine. I keep them on my desktop, but you can download sets. Let's see, wall collections. Let's see. I don't typically use these, but I'll show you guys just for the heck of it. And again, if you have Fundy, you can do this. And that's what's cool. You can literally do all the same stuff here. Go with a Miller's collage wall. Again, guys, I never really use these particular set templates, but I'm just going to show you guys what's up and what you can do. All right, so let's go back to, let's close this up. All right, let's go back into layouts. Collections, we'll go to, let's just go to grab and go. Okay, so these are basically, this company's called Design and Glow. They do a lot of cool pieces for photographers. They've got a lot of good like contract pieces, investment menu pieces, things like that. So you can check them out too. Let's just do this one for an example. So let's say your client wants a collage of images for their wall, and I want to move these. Actually, I'm not. I should be using a different wall. But anyways, I'm just going to show you how to do this. I'm going to make this example brief. You guys can get this and play with it. Let's just say you want to drag in, they want that photo there. Now, the irony is that this client actually did order canvases from their engagement session from us. And that was one of the reasons that their order was so high. They did almost an $8,000 order with this. They ordered 4 20 by 30 canvas gallery wraps, which are, we price our products at a premium because we know that the art has value. We know that the product's going to last for a long time. And again, guys, one of the things we always, tell you guys is you've got to charge for your price. For your work, because if you don't, you can't sustain your business. And so one of the things is like a lot of times people are afraid to charge. And the thing is, if you don't charge, you can't sustain your business. Okay. You won't be able to stick around. You won't be here in a year or two to actually create this beautiful art because you'll have to go back to a 9 to 5. So learning how to price your work accordingly is incredibly powerful. And I got to tell you guys, it feels fun, to get a sale that's almost $8,000. I got to tell you, it's like one of the best feelings, best highs you'll ever feel. So let's say I wanted to go no mat with this. Boom, no mat. This particular collection is through Graphy Studio. And so let's just say I want to go to Pro Canvas and take the mats off of it, right? Well, it just shows image wrap, Pro Canvas. Let's say I want to change the sizes. All I got to do is go in here, click the pencil, and I'm going to go 30 wide by 20 tall. Boom. Then I can resize it, reorganize it. I don't know. This isn't really what I'm going to leave here, but let's just, close that out. I think I just closed Fundy. That's the only thing. Sometimes when you pop open that window, it's kind of tricky, and like you think that you're closing like that, like separate second window that opens, and you actually close the whole program. I've done that so many times, and it's like a really common thing. It's one thing I wish they would fix about the design in Fundy, but other than that, like everything's great. So what do you guys think of that? I mean, I'd love to hear what you guys think about this software, how to use it, how to create value for your clients. I mean, this is it's insane. It's insane that this exists. And I just can't even believe that, it was so difficult to do anything close to this, even, 6-7 years ago. And today is like completely different story. Go 30 by 20 here. Okay. Now, guys, the reason I like 20 by 30 canvases is, like I told you guys, the images come out of the camera at a 2-to-3 ratio. So for me, it keeps it consistent. I'm going to get the full image without any crop, which is exactly what I want. Okay. So look, this isn't necessarily what I would design for this wall, but this just shows you kind of what's possible and what you can do. And you can show this to your clients. Okay. That is what is powerful about this software. And when they see it and they fall in love with it, you're golden. So if you have any questions about this, let me know. But this is really what I wanted to show you guys today. You could actually design any sort of gallery wall you want for your clients and blow their minds. I mean, blow their minds. And then the same thing as before. If you go, let me show you guys what I just did. So I went up here and clicked layouts. The same thing, it's almost identical to what you can do in album designs when you click layouts and it shows you the different spreads. I just click layouts here and you go right back in and it shows you all of these different templates that you can put together. Boom. Now I've got 20 by 10s. I don't really love that, but I can easily make those 20 by 30s or 30 by 20, however you want to do it, right? So it's really freaking powerful, guys. And it's one of those things that if you want to sell more wall art, if you want to sell to your clients and make money, then, there's no better way to do it than this, okay? So with that being said, it's a pretty general, high-level overview of how Fundy Designer Suite works. Fundy has been generous enough to give me a partner code so I can get 20% off of the suite for you guys. The code is literally my last name, so make sure you spell it right. It's not C-O-N, Constanza, it's Costanza, okay? So C-O-S-T-A-N-Z-A. You just use that code when you're checking out, when you want to get Fundy Designer Suite, and they'll take 20% right off the top of your purchase. And you can give them a nice hearty thank you. And guys, if I can do anything else to help you with Fundy or help you figure any of this stuff out, let me know. And if you again, if you need that rose tutorial, if you need any other sort of tutorial that we haven't done, let me know and I'll see what I can put together for you guys. Okay, I would absolutely love to be able to help you guys accelerate your business, get to the next level. And look, I mean, at the end of the day, this is why you got into business, right? You didn't get into business to struggle and have to figure things out and lose money. You got into business to make money and to provide impact and create impact for your clients, okay? So with that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing, amazing day. We only have a couple more days of the boot camp left, and not to worry, I'm not going anywhere, but I'm not going to be on every single day. But a couple more days of the boot camp, and then you guys are kind of out there doing it, okay? So If you need help getting to the next level, if you need help getting that business growing and moving and attracting the right clients and learning, maybe you can design all the stuff, but you're really not sure how to sell, or you need a sales strategy. Book the call with us, 7steps6figures.com/apply, and we'll get on the phone with you. Like we've been saying this entire boot camp. That's our mission, is to help you guys get to the next level. And we've got your back if you want to get there. Okay. So hope you have a great day. Hope this lesson really helped you and provided value, and drop me a comment. Let me know what you guys thought, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.